What's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this awesome, ultimate, modern treehouse. That's right, we're once again going against nature and making this tree modern. I love the result. I hope that you guys do too. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please do remember to subscribe to the channel for more, and click the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And you might be able to see there in each one of the little rooms, I have actually designed the inside of the tree, and it's pretty awesome. If you want to see that, I am going to show it off at the end of the video, so make it to the end to see the inside of the tree. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, everybody. Why don't we get this thing started? Boom, boom, boom. Now, just before we start building, ladies and gentlemen, here are all of the materials that we are going to be using. We don't actually need that many of them whatsoever, but please do make sure that you can get all of those and enough of them as well. The amount of ground space required to make your tree is a 10 by 10 block area. You shouldn't really require any more. Feel free to build this grid in your world if you like to help you better plan out the build. And that's it. Pause the video if you have to, gather all those materials, make sure you've got enough room to make it, make sure you're ready to have a tree fun happy time, and then once you are, we can begin. Alright, happy modern tree builders, let's tamper with nature. So the first step is going to be to come all the way to the front left hand corner of this grid. I'm going to count to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then inwards by 1. If you have made the grid, we're now starting in the same place. Cool. On top of this block, place an oak wood. Go right of that by 1. Place 3 oak woods going back and right on the ground. 1, 2, 3. Place an oak wood going backwards, and then 3 more going behind and left. 1, 2, 3. Go left by 1, and then place 3 more going forwards and left. 1, 2, 3. Place 1 in front, and then connect back to the start by placing 2 front left oak woods. That will give you this kind of a circle, but if you look at it this way, it's a square shape. Welcome to Minecraft. So the next thing that we're going to do is take all of these oak woods and extend them upwards. The number ultimately is up to you, but I would recommend extending them all up by at least 29. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Perfect. That's just great. So, the next goal of ours is to extend up every single oak wood as high as that first row. This will take quite a while. I don't know how good you guys are at math, but if you're any better than me, you might be able to figure out how many oak wood blocks you're actually going to require. And if you can put that down in the comments, that'll be helpful for when I make the item list later. I'm just kidding. I'll of course have to work all that out before I post this video, but you guys get the idea. So, I do also want to point out, whilst we are at this point, that you are able to make this tree house taller or smaller. I personally wouldn't really recommend making it smaller, because it's got a nice balance this way. We have 3 living pods up the tree, but you could absolutely make it taller. So all you would do is repeat what you have learned out of this video and keep applying it up the tree if you wanted to. It would actually be pretty awesome to see a tree that had 5 pods, 10 pods, 20 pods. I don't know how high you could actually go before you capped out at the sky limit, but I'd be pretty interested to see. But I did just want to point out that this is highly customizable. Once you have learned to make 1 pod, or even 2, because it is slightly different building on both sides of the tree, then you will be able to repeat it until your heart is content. So do feel free to customize this in any way, shape or form that you like. Although I will point out that having just nice free pods is It's quite nice and balanced. It's pretty much enough for one person, at least unless you're going for a very extensive survival base, and it's just like a nice amount of balance on the outside of the tree as well. It looks really good with just 3, but feel free to do exactly what you like. So, we will have a large tree trunk. This is the base of our tree. I want you to come all the way to the front of your tree, and I want you to come all the way down to the bottom. We are going to place quartz stairs in front of the 2 front oak woods at the base of the front of the tree. And we're going to destroy the 2x2 square of oak woods up and behind from those stairs. I want you to then place iron doors inside of those empty spaces. And I want you to place grey concrete left and right of those doors, building up from the ground to reach the height of the actual doors themselves. We're also going to place grey concrete left and right of the stairs. And we're also going to destroy above the doors as well. Place some light blue glass block in there. And then I do think that we are also going to place some grey concrete left and right of the glass. But we are going to finish this up by placing quartz slabs in front of the lower half of the glass and grey concrete, with an additional row of quartz slabs above the grey concrete and glass. And you could even feel free to perhaps connect it to the tree so that it just rests nicely there. But the end result should look like this. Additionally, if you want to customize the base of the tree, I would recommend placing some oak leaves around the base of the tree in any sort of way that you like. I just kind of like adding an additional color down at the bottom here, because it just kind of makes it pop a little bit more. It contrasts nicely. You could even perhaps extend up some of the corner blocks like this to kind of add a little bit more flavor. Or don't. It's completely up to you. But that looks pretty good. So our next goal is to mark out where all of the, what I will call, the living pods, basically the rooms of the treehouse. We're going to figure out where they all are. So what I want you to do is, starting all the way down at the top of the entrance, I want you to highlight these 2 oak woods. They're connected to the quartz slabs. We're going to count upwards from here, okay? And we are going to count up by 5. So we're going to go up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Destroy these blocks and the 2 rows above. We then want to leave a gap of 4, or count up by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Destroy these blocks and the 2 rows above. Do this once more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Destroy these blocks and the 2 above. And I'm just going to replace that oak that I sillily destroyed. So there you will have 3 separate separations. Each one of those is important, as this will help us to build each room of the treehouse. I want you to fill these areas in with glass. And you can also use this as a gauge. What I mean by this is, if you want to have, say, 5 rooms, you know how high you have to build it by repeating the pattern and placing the glass, as that will allow you to have enough room on the side of the tree to build an additional pod, if that makes sense. So let's actually talk about building a room. You want to come all the way down to the first set of glass window that we placed earlier. And now that we have located this, I want you to take note of these 3 glass blocks, and I want you to move around to the side of the tree. So marking the glass on the side of the tree right here, the very end, I want you to place grey concrete in the same position that the glass is in. Very important. We are then going to place an additional grey concrete above and below the grey concrete. So now that we have this row of grey concrete in that exact same position, because that is very important, we then want to extend that row of grey concrete 2 rows forwards. 1, and then 2. like this. We then want to extend the top and bottom of this across the build by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Building outwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connect the top and the bottom like this. And then do the same on the back. It should be quite easy to do because you can see where you have to place the grey on the back as well. So place the same grey concrete on the back in the same position. Extend it 2 rows behind itself. And then extend the bottom and the top across each by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to extend this up and back on itself. Perfect. I'm going to give this a floor. So my floor in particular, I have decided is going to be grey concrete, and it is going to just sit in between the 2 rows. You can actually have it lower by using slabs beneath, but you'll learn that later on. I'm also going to fill the top of this in using grey concrete as well. So I'm essentially making, it's kind of a box. There we go. But the box is not complete. The box requires a bit more attention. So on the side of the box, I want you to take the 2 bottom corners, move inwards by 1 on both sides, and place 1, 2, 3 grey concretes coming outwards. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to join them together, and we're going to also extend them upwards by 1, 2, 3. Both corners. 1, 2, 3. Join them together, and then connect them to the box here, like this. So it might look a little bit weird, but that is what we should have. What we now want to do is add another component to this box. There needs to be a part underneath. So the easiest way to find this is to come to the front left hand corner of the larger box and count to the right by 1 and 2. So right here. We're then going to count inwards from this. 1, 2. I know, it's kind of, there's a lot of counting, but it's definitely worth it. Place 3 grey concretes coming down from this position. 1, 2, 3. And connect left to the tree, like this. So now you can see we actually have quite a pleasing shape, or it will be pleasing once we've finished. And you want to take all of this shape and extend it backwards by 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3, connect to the tree, and just extend every single other block backwards. There we go. So I'm trying to take this nice and slow for a reason, because I want you guys to really get how this thing is made. So the next thing that we are going to do is add glass to the front and back of this. We fill the large areas in with glass on the front and the back. We fill the small area underneath in with glass as well, on the front and the back. This box here, I actually kind of want you to add a row of block of quartz on the left side and then glass on the right. You'll see why this is in a little bit. But we're now going to do the same. Oh, I suppose that I should point out that this here, this is actually going to be covered up by quartz, so you can leave this empty. But on the back here, we want to add the same row of quartz block here, with the light blue glass. You want to fill the large area in with light blue glass also, and then this little area down here underneath the tree. So we will have something which should look exactly like that, which is really good. Because now we want to start adding details to this. At its core, it's quite simple to do. We'll start with the large box and work our way down in size. So on the front of the large box, I want you to place quartz stairs in front of each corner. The top left, front right, top, bottom right, bottom left. I want you to place them in this pattern, so you guys can see how you would do this. It kind of frames it. It kind of looks like a picture frame like this. Or it looks as though it can be like extended outwards, like if you're in like Microsoft Paint or something. Yeah, anyway. So now that we've done this, I want you to place the opposite stairs behind them. And I mean opposite in every way. I mean the opposite way facing and like opposite way like up and down. Like that. We're going to join the top and the bottom together using block of quartz. But the like left and right, above and below, are going to be connected using quartz slabs. You place quartz slabs underneath the quartz stairs at the bottom, join them together, and you place quartz slabs on top of the stairs and you join them together. It makes a really nice circular shape like this. The same thing can be done to this smaller circle here. So we can only place these stairs on the bottom right corner and the top right corner here, but you can still place the opposite stairs on here as well, and you can join them together top to bottom using block of quartz. You can place quartz slabs underneath and join across, and you can place quartz slabs on top and join across. It's not necessary to join to the grey concrete as the stairs will get in the way, like that. So now you guys kind of get the idea. Additionally, we'll be extending these quartz stairs and quartz blocks backwards and joining to our kind of like little circular oval cubey shapes. So that's why we placed the quartz next to the window earlier. As we come down below to this point, we really only have one set of stairs to add, which is in the bottom right corner. You have the outward stairs on the side, with block of quartz connecting upwards, and you want to have the same quartz slabs underneath the stairs and connecting across to the tree, like that. You will also find that we will be placing quartz slabs underneath here, and it will connect to the lower part of the tree like this. We also want to have like quartz stairs extended across and back in this sort of fashion, so it all connects to the tree trunk quite tightly. You don't want to have any gaps at all. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the theory behind all of it. That's entirely how you do this thing. Because now that you've done it to the front, I'm sure that you guys can imagine how it looks on the back. So the easiest way to probably do this is to start extending the blocks towards the back, and just make sure that they overhang the back of the build by one row. In doing that, you kind of set yourself up for the next part of the process, and you can just happily build your way along, and you can build each part of the pods or the room. Is it actually raining? How did the weather get turned on? Huh, this is a dark day. There we go, sunshine. I don't even know how that happened. Anyway, as I was saying, all you have to do is extend all of these blocks backwards. That's all you have to do. Make sure they overhang the back of the build by one row, and you can't go too far wrong. And you want to do that with all of the slabs, and by the way, you will create a floor, which is what I was talking about earlier. You can see you can actually drop the floor down one row lower here to where the quartz slabs are, but I kind of like to make a feature of the rooms by using the quartz slabs in different positions. You'll see this when I show you the actual finished version where I've decorated the inside and stuff at the end of the video. So feel free to stick around to see that if you like. But again, all it is repetition. That's all you've got to keep consistent in your head. As long as you're doing the exact same thing that you did on the front, then you really cannot mess this up. And it's going to be important for you to remember all of these steps, because if you do plan on extending the build, making it taller, I kind of want to do that myself, to be honest. I want to see how high I can build this bad boy. It's going to be important to remember how you actually do all of these steps, and hopefully that's what I'm showing you. I'm hoping that in doing it in this sort of like slow fashion, I hope it's not annoying or anything, but in doing it in this slow fashion and doing a lot of repetition and stuff and showing you kind of like how I designed this thing, because you know this is how I designed it, how I'm showing you how to make it, then we will both be able to replicate it loads and loads and loads. So we have all of this, and we have the quartz slab on top. and we can just extend it atop. And by the way, there are a couple of things that you can choose to do. Like, let's say that you didn't feel like having a roof for this particular part and you wanted some glass built into the top of this. You could absolutely do that. You do not have to have a quartz slab roof. You can have glass, and you can have a nice clear room, especially if you're like building something in the room, like if it's like a potions room or something. You might feel as though that it'd benefit from a nice little bit of brightness. Or if it was a bedroom or something, for instance. But these are design choices that you are able to make for yourselves. So now you can see how we have made what started off as kind of like a little shabby design of mixed-mashed rectangles into something that looks quite fancy and quite extravagant. It looks really, it looks really difficult to put together until you actually build it from like the ground up. And that's one set of rooms, ladies and gentlemen, and the pattern doesn't deviate from here, it just swaps sides. That's all you've got to do. So like if you build one on this side, you build the next one on the opposite side, except a tad higher. So let's do exactly that. We're going to go through this again. We are now going to bump ourselves up to the next layer of glass on the tree. Take note of the position of the glass and move to the side of the tree here. Mark out the position of the glass using grey concrete on the side of the tree on the very end. And extend the grey concrete down and up like that. Extend it 2 rows towards you, 1 and 2, and then take the bottom and the top and extend each across by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outwardly. And then I'm just going to extend up and connect backwards like this. We want the same on the back of the tree, which is easy to do because you can literally just look as you're doing this at the just a few rows away from you. You can do the same thing, and you can just track the positions of the grey concrete as well in front of you and do the same thing as well. No real counting required. I would urge you to fill the tops and the bottoms of these in using grey concrete unless you have a further purpose for them, such as you want to have a glass roof, or you want to put some leaves on top, or whatever it is you guys want to do. But otherwise, fill the top and bottom of this in using grey concrete like this. So the next thing that we have to do is add the smaller room on the side. This begins by taking a sideways view at both of the bottom corners and moving inwards by 1 on each side. You place 3 grey concretes, 1, 2, 3 coming outwards, 1, 2, 3 coming outwards, you join them together, and you raise up the corners each by the same, by 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3. We're going to join together, and then extend inwards, and this will connect, just like this, in the corners, like that. You can choose to fill the top of this in, or you can have the quartz slab do it for you a little bit later on. I'm going to let the quartz slab do it. If you want, you can also join the grey concretes down as well that you use to extend inwards, and preemptively add a block of quartz inside those corners. It'll just look a little bit better when it comes to later. So now is the tricky part where we figure out where the underneath room comes in. So you want to come to the front bottom right hand corner of the room, and you want to count to the left by 2. 1, 2. And then you want to count inwards by the same. 1, 2. Place a grey concrete and extend down by 2. 1, 2. Connect to the tree and extend all blocks backwards by 3. That rhymed. 1, 2, 3. Connect. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the difficult part done. The frame. We now have to fill the fronts and backs of this in using glass. So the little small part, the larger part, we don't have to make any modifications to the little side room either because we have already placed some block of quartz there, so we don't really have to make any modifications whatsoever. And then underneath as well, we just want to add the blue glass in too. So now that we have done that, all we have to do is spice it up a little bit. And you guys know how to do this. It's pretty much the same process every time. You place the appropriate quartz stairs in front of the top corners of each part of the build. So like here and here, and the same on the back as well. And there's even like a corner one here. So you guys get the idea. Again, it really does remind me of like something that you can extend like in Paint. Like if you highlight something, it's like, oh, do you want to drag the corners and extend? I sound crazy. So now that you've done that, we are now going to place the opposite quartz stairs on the outsides of all of these blocks, and I'm just doing them all together because why not? I mean, it's the same process every time. You connect the top and the bottom together vertically using block of quartz, like this. However, you connect the top and bottom horizontally. Oh, I missed this one. Here, and then here, and here. Easy to forget, it's the smallest one. And then horizontally, you connect them together at the top and bottom using quartz slabs. And it's as easy as that. Once you've kind of got this little part done, the rest is very, very easy. And you can start making a few shortcuts for yourself. So you can start extending the stairs across where it's appropriate, and you can start adding all of these slabs in where it's appropriate as well, and where it's not going to get in the way of building anything. So like here and underneath here as well. But, oh, and also just, I keep forgetting this little part. And then here and connecting to here, like this. And you can see from the front, that looks done. We can leave it here, guys, it's fine. But seriously. But now that we've done that, we will have to do the same thing to all of these blocks. And the most annoying blocks and the most difficult blocks are the ones closest to the tree, where you can't cram yourself in. Spider-Man's gained a little bit of weight over the years, ladies and gentlemen, so it is a little bit difficult for him to work his way around, but hey, you know, it's fine. He's still a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, even though he's a bit tubbier. So we are going to also, I'm going to place the guiding stairs on the back of the build this time as well. And I'm then going to extend the front and the back together because I think that that might work a little bit better for me. But we'll just have to see. So we'd have that on the opposite side here and here. That would join there. And then if I place this first, oh no, this first. There we go. That's perfect. So that actually makes things a little bit easier. And if I like place these first, you see, you can give yourself these little tricks to kind of like just take care of the hard problems before you even have to before you have to encounter them. Like if you place some guiding blocks first, it's actually a lot easier. But this is how it should be done, guys. You should kind of like just be working your way around here, spotting blocks that have to be placed, and then doing them for yourselves now, hopefully. But it's all repetition, all of this. As long as the front and the back connects together and as long as they look identical, it really doesn't matter which order you actually build this in, as long as you are able to do it. So here, and then we've just got underneath here to build as well. And here, well, there we go. I'm hesitant to add any more slabs until I have connected the front and the back, because I don't want any sort of conflicts here, although I don't think that I'm going to run into any now. Earlier I placed a few too many slabs, and that's why I'm extending back all of the stairs first, because the stairs take priority because they actually fuel the shape of the thing. Rather than the other way around. But I think that we've actually just about done it. We've just got some few finishing touches. Each individual pod does take quite a bit of time to put together because it's quite a difficult process, especially considering the fact how many different parts of these that there are, and considering the fact as well that we have to navigate the tree. But oh, there we go, we've also got to, you see what I mean? There's always something that you can miss out. You've got to be very, very diligent as you're doing this to make sure that you've not left any gaps, otherwise it'll be a little bit weird and slightly embarrassing. So do make sure that you have all of the gaps filled in, and I think that we do. And that's perfect. So now we will have a pretty impressive 2 layers, ladies and gentlemen. Not if you wanted to, you could put a top on this tree and it would look just fine as it is, but I have a thing with the number 3. I don't know why it is. Maybe it's OCD. I don't even know. But now that we have 2, we are able to build them all because we've done the right side, we've done the left side. You guys get the idea. You can continue going and going and going until you are done. But I'm not going to run out on you guys. I am going to make this 3rd and final pod before we put a top on this tree. Okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to note that we have to place it on the right. So we're up here with all of the glass, and we want to mark out that glass on the side here using grey concrete. And this part of the tutorial, I'm going to do this a little bit faster, guys, because we have done this 2 times already. So if you do struggle with this, just revert to a little earlier part of the video, and I'm sure that you'll be able to, you know, give yourself a bit of a catch up. But we've done this 2 times, so I think that you'll be pretty good. A-okay. Okay, so you mark out the grey on the tree, and then you extend down and up. You extend 2 rows in front, 1 and 2, and then you extend 5 rows across to the outward part. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and connect up and down. We then do the same on the back of the tree, so like we mark out the grey concrete, we add 2 rows coming out of the back, and then I'm going to fill in the floor here. I'm going to fill in the floor before I just make the side walls, because I think that it'll kind of just take care of itself. So that's the bottom, and I'm filling in the top because I don't want to have a glass roof on my particular pods, because I quite like them as they are. You're more than welcome to add glass roofs and glowstone roofs and fireproof roofs. You do what you want. Maybe even add a water roof. That'd be a little bit crazy. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could. Now that we have our first box, we have to make a second box, which is on the sides. This is easily done by coming inwards from both of the sideways corners and placing 1, 2, 3 grey concretes. 1, 2, 3 grey concretes. We join them together and extend them up also by 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. You join them together, and then you connect inwards. Like this, and like this. You can extend down if you like, and preemptively add the block of quartz that will inevitably come later. The difficult part is figuring out where the underneath part of the cube comes in. You can come to the front bottom left hand corner of your cube, the larger room, and count to the right by 1, 2, and inwards by 1, 2. This can also be achieved by taking the corner and moving in diagonally by 1 and 2, however you want to do it. You place 3, 1, 2, and 3 grey concretes coming down and extend towards the tree. And then you also extend backwards by the same amount of blocks. 1, 2, 3, connect, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just like that. So you can see it's actually quite easy. Like when you get going, you can repeat, 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 repeat. We're then going to place some light blue glass block in front of and behind all of the relevant positions for each room. The smaller room you will find is only really suitable for little hidey, like it's kind of like a little hidey hole. Like you maybe want to hide like an ender chest there, or something valuable, something just sneaky, maybe even a sign that says haha you found me. Whatever you like. It's just like a 2x1 little area, but you can easily like build in from the tree and have like just a nice little secret room. Just a suggestion. But once you have added all of the glass, I would highly recommend going all the way around the build, and this time not just on the front, but on the back as well. I think is a good idea to do at the same time, to add all of the relevant stairs in to each one of the corners of the build. So, like, you start off by placing all the regular stairs, and then you would go on to make the, I guess, the opposite stairs. I was going to call them irregular, but they're not, but we might as well call them that. But you want to place them on the sides, like this. You might find it, that reminds me of Tetris. I really always hated getting that shape in Tetris. It really messed me up. But you might find it easier to perhaps place these stairs closest to the tree first. You might find that helps you. And I'm going to extend this one backwards as well to connect to here, and I'm just going to extend all of this across, and then I'm going to get to work on the back. So the back, I obviously want to have the same thing. All of the stairs want to be placed in all of the relevant positions. They also want to connect to the trunk of the tree, plus in some particular cases they're also going to want to connect to the other parts of the rooms. So that's why this is so tricky and finicky and fiddly, but hey, what can you do? But I would recommend placing all the stairs on the back to start off with anyway. On the back and the front, because then I think it makes the rest of the build a little bit easier. No, not like this. Not like this. So here, and then connect. Whoa, no. Here, perfect. And then these can extend across. And perfect. I think that pretty much covers it. And I forgot the smaller part again. Oh no. Why do I forget it? Okay, Perfect. I think that that's all of the tricky stairs completed. It looks like it's been struck by lightning as well. It looks like an electric type Pokemon this thing does. So now that you've done that, all we have to do is join the tops and the bottom of these together using the block of quartz. I think that that's the next logical progression because it kind of fills in at quite a lot of gaps as well. Just filling in the top and the bottom. So like this part in particular, we can just like place that all there. That's extended back and connected. This fills in the side of a room, which is quite handy. We have to place all of these that connects here. And then we have to place this. There we are. Perfecto. So now we have all of these. We are then going to satisfy the top and the bottom parts of the room by placing some quartz slabs in the relevant positions. So we want to join the stairs top to bottom together like this and across, and you guys get the idea. We just want to fill all of these parts in. I'm just kind of, I feel like I've got like ADD or something. I'm just like working my way. I'm working my way all the way around this, and I'm just, whenever I spot something, it's like, oh, I want to fill that in, I want to fill that in. I'm not really like keeping to like a set pattern or anything, but that's perfectly fine. That's an alright way to do it. It might even be a little bit faster too. So now that the back's filled in, of course, we have to connect the tops together as well, and we will also very keenly be looking around for anywhere that we have missed some blocks as well, because they will stand out like a sore thumb later on, because I like the idea that this is mostly quartz. I like that idea quite a bit, so I don't really want to have it any other sort of colours like showing through where I don't want them. So yeah, that's good. So we're just making sure that we have all of these taken care of, and I guess you can probably get one of these built in, what, like 5 minutes or so? So it's not really too taxing as long as you know what you're doing, and then you will be left with this awesome design. Doesn't that look really insane? It looks so complicated to build, but it's actually so easy as long as you just follow the steps. There's only one thing that we've got left to do. There's actually two things. I lied. Immediately lied. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can add some additional detail to the trunk of your tree. And by the way, if you want to make more rooms, if you don't want to move on to the next part yet, just pause the video, keep making rooms, make it as high as the sky, some might say. Go and tickle Zeus's toes with your treehouse. I don't know what I'm even talking about. But build it as high as you like, and then you can continue on if you want to keep building it high. But if you want to add a small amount of detail to the tree trunk itself, you can add branches. Now these are good to add in positions like at the bottom here, where we don't have much going on the trunk of the tree. A branch is pretty simple. If you just start out with like a straight row of oak wood, like this, just poking out the side of the tree. I am destroying everything, just poking out the side of the tree. And then adding a couple of rows below it like this, something like that. You can make it a bit more organic looking, like a little bit more 3D if you like. And then if you just add some leaves to it, I mean, like, I don't know how better to do it. It wants to look random, absolutely. Like, I know that the modern treehouse is built in a very, like, formulaic fashion, but I don't think that when you add the top to it and stuff, it's actually gonna look as though that it's like just, it follows a formula. You guys will see what I'm talking about in a little bit. But adding a little branch there, it adds a little bit of colour to the tree. It looks a little bit interesting. You could even make it larger if you wanted, but that's up to you. Another place that I would recommend it is adding it onto the opposite side of the top of the tree that you don't have a room on. Meaning, so that we've got a room on this side. This is the top of my tree. This right here, like this is the top. And add another branch. So maybe like even a bigger one, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe 6, because that's about the size of a room as well. And maybe we'll make this one, yeah, we'll just make it a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger, and we'll try and also make it look a little bit, what's the word? Organic? Something like that. That looks okay. I mean, you could even add a little bit more here if you wanted to. Probably not facing that way, because that'd be weird, unless it looked like a knot in the tree. And then I'm going to add leaves primarily to the under part and to the sides of this branch, because this is the top of the tree. But it will make it look as... It just makes it look more organic. That's all there is to it. You don't want it to look as though that the tree's made out of metal or something, you know? You don't want it to look synthetic. You want it to look as though that you've just found a tree and you've built a pretty awesome tree house in it. So something like that would look just fine, and it melds in nicely to the environment. You can even have a little bit more of oak on show if you like, but that's completely up to you. So now you can see the tree looks a little bit more interesting. We are missing the very most important thing, though, right at the top of the tree, the leaves. The tree doesn't have leaves. So the way to do this is actually quite simple. The first thing that I'm going to recommend is adding just one more row of oak logs, or you don't even have to use oak logs. Add a row of oak leaves at the top of this, on top of the circular part at the top of the tree. Just add a row of oak leaves like this, going all the way around the top. Fill in the corners. Trust me, we're going to start off with what is essentially a rectangle, and we will make it into an oval, and then we will make it into a masterpiece. I wouldn't say masterpiece actually, but it'll look really good anyway. So start off with just adding leaves on the top of the tree and turn it into a big square, essentially. Or a circle, or whatever that shape is. I'm bad with shapes. Geometry was never my strong suit. Okay, so we're going to extend the leaves out to the sides to a satisfactory fashion. I want to hang over the side of the tree a little bit. So like where this room is, I want to overhang the side a little bit. And I also want to overhang this side a little bit. It's easier to do on this side because it's a bit closer. Something like that. And then you can proceed to fill in these shapes. So essentially what we're doing is we're starting off with a giant rectangular shape like this. That's all we have to do. Start off with a giant rectangle. We're also going to extend a few rows forwards and backwards because we like things like that. And then we can start adding shape to it. Start off with rectangle, oval, add layers, top, bottom, easy. Make it look a little bit scruffy. That's pretty much how I make trees. And they look, well, I think they look great anyway. But if you start off with this sort of shape, which reminds me of something, but I don't know what, and maybe add a couple more layers coming back, my 1, 2, 3, maybe like 3 rows coming backwards, do the same going forward. It doesn't really matter that much. You could have just started from there if you so chose, but you'll see what we're going to be doing in just a second. So you don't want to add too many. You don't want to make it square. You kind of want, hang on, 1, 2, 3, there we go. You kind of want to start off with a rectangular shape, or at least that is what I would recommend anyway. So we add the 3 rows, and we will start off with a rectangle. And you'll notice it's very important. It covers up. If you look from the top, you can't see anything sticking out around it. That's a really important quality in this. We are now, in front of this, going to add layers of leaves. These layers of leaves are going to knock 2 rows off of each side that we place a layer of leaves. So on both sides, knock off 2 rows, like this. Do it until you're happy. Make it into an oval shape, or something similar. It might end up more of a circle because of how many layers we've added, but something like this. You don't even have to add that many, like 1, 2, 3, 4. We've added about 4 layers. We'll do the same on the back, we'll make it the exact same, although you can vary it front and back, because that will make it more random, and in essence, as long as it's built well, random doesn't always equal perfect, but if it is built in, how many did we do? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we just need to add 1 more. As long as it's built well, and with a bit of a random nature, it's alright, but you don't want it to look completely like bananas. So there we go, that is the starting shape for the tree, and you can see it doesn't look too bad. So what you would do from this point is you'd start building up on top of it, right? You take the very ends, and you just build a layer of leaves on top, and this is how it's done, and this is the variable part. You do this as many times as you want, but you start off by adding a layer of leaves directly above like this. We might even add 1 below, probably won't add 1 below. I don't think we need to add 1 below, and I'll show you why when we get to later, but add a layer of leaves going all the way around the outside because you kind of want to bolster the initial shape of the tree. Again, you'll see what I mean. And it's going to start off looking strange. And you'll see that. It'll look sort of weird, like, I don't know, like a penny that's slightly bent or something. But it'll look a little bit like that. It looks a little bit weird, right? But we now start adding more layers of leaves above and inside of the previous layer. And you don't have to be that strict. You don't have to follow all of the shape. You can alter it. you can make it random. This is where the random nature comes in. You'll see as we go around. You don't want it to be completely crazy, unpredictable random all the way around, but you do want to shake it up a little bit as you do build around the top of the tree. And you can even, as you go around, you can add bits to the side. You can destroy some. And you can add... I actually wouldn't add that there. That's a bad idea. But you can add... Come on, leaves. Where are you? You can add leaves. By the way, new feature. Leaves sometimes disappear as you're placing them. I think it's 1.10, is it? I can't remember the name of the update, but sometimes they don't place properly. Anyway, we are going to be placing the leaves in a random nature. And as you go around, you can alter the tree. You can mess it up a little bit, rough it up a little bit. But you can easily leave it until later on as well. You don't have to, like, build the random nature into it. You can do that after the fact. But you can see what a difference it's already made, right? That doesn't look too bad. And if you are interested in, like, how do I make it random? Add some blocks, destroy some blocks. That's all it is. Add some underneath. You don't necessarily have to even destroy any. You can just keep adding and adding. Random shapes are good. You don't have to even do that much underneath the tree. But you do have to do some. Like, you do have to add some underneath the tree. Like, you can't just add weird random patches, because it will look weird. But, yeah. We're going to add some leaves around here. And preferably, it builds into... I don't know how better to say it, really. Like, it builds into it. Like, there you go. Like, you can see that the random leaves underneath the tree build up into the top of the tree, so to speak. And I'm just going to get rid of some of the leaves from this branch as well, because I want it to be more apparent that that is a branch. And that looks alright. That looks fine. That looks a little bit better. But anyway, what you do from this point onwards is you add more and more leaves to the top. And you do it in the random nature that we've been describing. You build up layers. That's all it is. Higher and inwards. Eventually, you will reach a point where you're like, I don't want it to be pointy. Now, that sounds like a weird thing to say, but if you keep adding layers and layers and layers, and you don't even think about it, right? You don't even think about it. You just keep adding layers randomly, willy-nilly. You know, you're not even... You kind of went into autopilot. You're listening to a podcast on music or listening to me drone on, and you kind of just keep building up and inward. Eventually, you'll reach something... It'll kind of look like a mountaintop. A very green, luscious mountaintop, but a mountaintop nonetheless. And you don't want that. You're going to want to figure out a place to stop. And you know what? That actually applies to life a little bit as well, especially to food. You're going to want to figure out when to stop before you be sick. But it's the same sort of thing with the tree. And I don't even know why I threw that in there, but there you go. Like, this isn't a stopping point. This is alright. We can keep going with this, and we can keep adding a few layers here. That looks pretty good. But you can see how I don't particularly have, like, a set out plan. Like, this isn't a formula at all. Like, it starts off in that way, but, like, It looks pretty decent like this. We'll be adding a bit more detail to the under part of the tree. I'll probably be doing that off recording. But, ladies and gentlemen, you have learned the skill required to make the top of your tree, right? You know how to do it. You build more and more layers and stuff, and you do the same with the lower part of the tree. I am going to take a snap. Not a nap. It's very different. I'm going to take a snap, and I am going to do the top of my tree, and I'm going to show you what it can look like with a bit of extra love. Because I don't think you're going to benefit from watching me go at it over and over and over again. It really is a personal, much more like refined process in doing this. So I'm going to go away, I'm going to take care of the top of my tree, and just the underneath as well. I'm going to show you what this build would look like once you have reached the same point that I have, which is just adding the tree on top. Now here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is what your build should look like, roughly. Once you have finished adding all of the leaves, all of the branches, once you've got all of your rooms sorted out, you've got an entrance, this is what the build should look like. You can see that you don't have to add a massive amount of detail to the under part of the leaves, but you can feel free to build up the sides of the leaves quite a lot, and the top part of the leaves. Like, you'll see that that does make quite a bit more difference than the underneath. The underneath requires a lot less attention. But I am hoping that you guys are left with something that should look roughly very, very similar to this. It should be a little bit different because of the leaf situation and possibly because of other rooms, but this is the general vibe that we should be going for. Now what I want to do, ladies and gentlemen, before we close out this video, is I want to show you the original version of the modern treehouse so that you can get a glimpse onto how I've decorated the inside and how much space you have and all those fun things. Let's take a look, shall we? Into the portal. I'm here! So here we are at the original version of my modern treehouse. It's very similar to the one that we've just made, except the interior is done. The outside looks almost identical. The way that you enter the treehouse is through the double door at the base of the tree. You have to open it using a button or something because it's got iron doors. On the inside of the base of the tree, I wanted some quick utilities that you can instantly access. So chests, crafting tables, anvils, furnaces, that sort of fun stuff. Places to put the valuables that you've just collected. You will notice that it's nice and lit up and you have a double ladder leading all the way up to the top of the tree. But you will also notice these two curious quartz slabs that lead you to the little hidden room below every single floor. It's easy to access if you do a little bit of ladder parkour from here. You can drop down onto the slab and work your way into that room. It's not supposed to be easy. Working up to the second floor, we have kind of like a brewing area. We have plenty of chests strewn about. We have loads and loads of storage, and again, access to that little secret hidden room. You drop onto the chest from the ladder, jump onto the quartz slab, and access it over there. This particular part of the house is a brewing area. It's plenty of cauldrons, brewing stands, chests for storage, all that sort of fun stuff. It's kind of cozy in here. I really like it. Everything's labeled and detailed, so you know exactly what you're getting out of all of the chests. If we work our way up to the next part, you'll notice that once again, storage is a large part with this house, and you can also see another way to get up into that little hidden room over there with all of the valuables. This is much more of an improvement area. You see that we have an enchantment library with lecterns and enchanting tables, and we have all sorts of gear to enchant. It's really cozy in here as well. I really like this particular floor of the build. And if we work our way up to the final floor, you'll notice that this is a bit more of a personal floor. This is where you're going to keep more of your personal items. We even have a little bit of a jukebox here so that you can play some music and stuff. But you can see that we have a lot of stuff just strewn on the walls that you can access if you know where they are. This room is the bedroom. You can see that that's where we keep our totems of the undying, our tridents, we have a double bed, and we have some more utilities up here as well. Very cozy indeed. Probably my favourite floor out of all of them if I did have to choose one, just because of how cozy it is. And that's it ladies and gentlemen. I do very much hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please do remember to hit that like button, as it helps the channel out so much. If you want to see more awesome tree houses, especially modern ones, or whatever I end up building, then please hit that like button and let me know down below in the comment section. Let me know what you want to see next. Leave a suggestion. That's really important stuff. If you do want to keep up to date with the channel and all of the things that I am going to be building, then subscribe and click the little bell next to the subscription button. That ensures that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to make more tree houses by me, we don't really have any of them around here. We have a couple of random builds that I've been working on. But trust me when I tell you, there is so many more to build in the card system description below, and I'll even leave a handy link in the top of the description. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate all of you so much. You guys are what make this channel so great. I really do appreciate all of you so much. I can't express how much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.